As I walk into the grocery store, my first instinct is to find the candy aisle. My quick legs shuffle rapidly as I sense the smell of sugar. The aroma of sweetness invades my nostrils, and with just a whiff of it, instantly I am addicted. As I stride past the little kids, my hands immediately reaches for the candy in the container. While I grab as much as of each of the candy, I push the scoop away just so I can get quicker access. However, with the overload of sugar all at once, I am slowly aware of how addictive it can be. I am reminded that for me, sugar is like the taste of being alone. It is an addictive flavor that I just can't seem to resist. The cruel print on my tongue can't seem to part from the taste I've been surviving off of many years. As the sugar starts to creep up on me, I start to see dancing stars in my head. From time to time, I have become jealous of those dancing flashes that invades my eyes. The way they hold their hands and peer in groups causes me to realize how naive my head can be. Regardless of the fact that being alone is something I need, it isn't something I want. Sometimes I think the invasion of personal space is exactly what I need. This rang true when I had to make a hard adaptation as I was moving to a new country with a different culture. Moving from the small country of Singapore, where I only knew people of my nationality, to transition to a whole new different country was an intimidating move for my 5th grade self. Suddenly, entering a playground where kids already were familiar with each other was not an easy move to make. My first day of 5th grade was like a smudge on a book where the words became non-existent. To this day, my brain has completely disabled and unwired my first 2 weeks of 5th grade. All I could remember was that each day seemed to have doubled in hours, or that every second turned into minutes. While I did forget most of what happened, I do remember wandering alone and staring at the patterns of my shoes. I would accompany my wander with a Geronimo Stilton book that I was addicted to. I would sit by the cold cafeteria table where the place was like an abandoned house where no kids would enter. I would stare out at the playground and notice that there were actually quite a lot of kids who were the only extinct animal left. As a fellow extinct animal, I should have run over, but I knew I was not good at the chase. As few more days would pass by, the patterns of 5th grade would change for me. I was invaded by a unique girl whose boundaries were blind. Her approach was intimidating, and I grew goosebumps from how uncomfortable I was. She would approach me every day and make me play some silly elementary game that was popular at the time. Since I was weak, I followed her around and played along with her. While she didn't have a prominent friend, she knew people, and by association, I got to know more people. I did stick by the girl throughout the rest of 5th grade, but the proximity between her and I still got to me. However, I knew that even though she was not the type I would be friends with, and I cannot say that I didn't find her weird, she was the one that would regularly invade my space. I created my first sets of friends in America because of her, and my life with Geronimo Stilton got abandoned. While I did enjoy reading my books, life with friends was probably a better replacement. I realize that sometimes it isn't that bad, and I don't hate it as much as I think when someone disturbs my taste buds with a little bit of salt. Unfortunately, I didn't remain friends with her after elementary school as we parted ways in middle school. However, I would remember her impact on my life. I learned several lessons from her that I don't think I would have learned without her. I discovered that being alone and to like being alone isn't a bad thing. What people call alone is what I call independence. I prefer to live life without constant support surrounding my body. Instead, for my body to gain the support it needs, a time alone with myself is what keeps me from falling apart. My love and desire to be alone has always been my personal Helican days of life. However, I also learned that it can be lonely when you don't want to be alone. I also managed to believe that sometimes when someone invades my personal space, it can give me a piece of happiness that I don't ever want them to take back.